All right, let's talk about a book that makes one of the boldest predictions I've ever read. It says that by the time a baby born today is tossing their graduation cap in the air, humanity is going to merge with AI and expand our intelligence a millionfold. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a massive claim about where we're headed, and we are going to unpack it right now.
The book is Ray Kurzweil's latest, The Singularity Is Nearer, and the core argument here is that we are standing right on the edge of a transformation, one that's going to completely redefine what it even means to be human. So let's jump right into the heart of his prediction.
So the whole thing kicks off with a really startling claim. Kurzweil gives us a single date. A date he says is basically the event horizon for the human race as we know it. And that date is 2045. Yep, Kurzweil predicts this is the year we hit the singularity. Now, what does that mean? It's the point where our technology, especially AI, gets so ridiculously advanced that we're actually going to merge with it. And he claims this isn't just a small upgrade, it could expand our intelligence by a factor of millions. So we're not just talking about faster iPhones here. This is about a complete fundamental redefinition of humanity itself.
And look, this isn't some far-flung, distant sci-fi fantasy. Kurzweil makes a really powerful point. A child born today will be getting their college degree right when this is supposed to happen. So the real challenge the book throws at us is, how in the world do you prepare for a future that's not just coming, but coming at an exponential pace, not a nice, steady, linear one?
So you're probably asking, how can he possibly make a prediction that wild? Well, his entire argument, the whole thing, is built on one single, incredibly powerful idea that he calls the engine of change.
And that idea is the law of accelerating returns. The basic concept is simple but profound. Progress in tech, especially information tech, doesn't move in a straight line. It's exponential. Think about it like this. An AI helps us design a better, faster computer chip. Well, that new, faster chip can then run an even smarter AI, which can then design an even better chip. You see, it's this self-fueling feedback loop of faster and faster growth.
Okay, and this right here, this is the heart of Kurzweil's entire case. For more than 80 years, the sheer amount of computing power you can get for $1 has been doubling at an accelerating rate. And this is bigger than just Moore's law, from microchips. He shows it's a fundamental pattern that started way before transistors even existed, and he argues it's going to continue long after they're gone. This exponential curve, this is the engine that's driving absolutely everything, from AI to biotech.
To put it in Kurzweil's own words, technology is basically designing its own evolution now. So the really crucial takeaway is that this is so much bigger than just our phones getting a little faster every year. This exponential engine, he says, is an unstoppable force that's going to push us, inevitably, to that 2045 singularity.
All right, so beyond that giant prediction, what are the big takeaways? I pulled out 3 core ideas from the book that really help you wrap your head around what this future might actually look and even feel like.
The first pillar is the most practical one, and it's this. The merger between us and our machines, it's not something that's going to start in 2045. It's already happening. I mean, think about it. Kurzweil argues that our smartphones are, quite literally, extenders for our brains. We've already outsourced so much of our memory and our thinking to these little devices that are, as he puts it, literally close at hand. And this is just the very, very beginning of a much, much deeper connection.
Okay, the second pillar is the one that'll really bend your mind. The book forces you to ask some really deep questions about who you are. I mean, imagine when the thinking part of your brain, your neocortex, is connected to the cloud, when your thoughts can exist on a computer server. Where do you stop and the machine begin? It's this massive philosophical puzzle that Kurzweil says we're all going to have to face down in the next couple of decades.
And the third pillar. This is the hidden gem. It's a concept from later in the book that is both totally fascinating and, honestly, a little haunting. Kurzweil talks about creating AI replicants of people who've passed away, built from all their emails, texts, their entire digital footprint. But here's the kicker. He makes this stunning claim that these AIs won't just pretend to be that person, they will actually be conscious and will genuinely believe that they are them.
But, of course, no book is perfect. And to give you a really balanced view, we have to look at where this whole argument might be just a little too optimistic.
So Kurzweil paints this beautiful picture of a future filled with abundance for everyone. But the book actually includes a debate with the Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman, who throws a bit of cold water on that. Kahneman basically says, yeah, I get the long-term vision, but you're forgetting about the messy transition. He warns that we're looking at a long period of conflict.
He argues that while sure, humanity as a whole might level up, what about the individual people, like a truck driver whose job disappears overnight because of automation? For them, the transition's going to be anything but painless.
Okay, so how do we take these huge, abstract ideas and make them practical? Here's the one thing the book suggests you can actually do differently starting this week.
Here's your action plan. Start retraining your brain to see the world the way Kurzweil does. See, our brains are naturally wired to think in straight lines, linear thinking, but we're living in an exponential world. So here's the challenge for you this week. Just look around. Find one piece of technology in your life, could be AI art generators, the battery in an electric car, whatever, and really notice how it's not just getting a little bit better each year, it's improving at a faster and faster rate. Making that little mental shift completely changes how you see what's coming.
All right, so after all that, what's the final verdict? Is The Singularity Is Nearer actually worth your time?
My final verdict is that this is an absolute must-read. Look, it doesn't matter if you find Kurzweil's vision exciting or, frankly, terrifying. The ideas in this book are essential for understanding the world we're heading into. He is laying out a detailed, data-driven roadmap for the next few decades that is going to touch every single part of our lives. And honestly, to ignore it is to choose to be blindsided by the future.
But that brings me to the final and most important question, which I want to ask all of you. Kurzweil's entire vision depends on this one idea, the law of accelerating returns. So, do you buy it? Can this kind of exponential growth really go on forever? Or do you think there are some hard physical or societal limits that are eventually going to slow it all down? Let me know what you think down below.